Hello everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom. I have just witnessed Ipswich 0, Cardiff City 1 at Portman Road. Me amongst only 13,000 to see a very odd selection from Mick McCarthy. So lots of changes from Sunday's game against Norwich. He did keep the 3-5-2 formation. And maybe he's got an eye on the weekend game at Preston. I don't know whether he sees that as a more likely chance to get points than at home to Cardiff. But he made a lot of changes. So Bart in goal. The back three were the same: Chambers, Webster, Carter, Vickers. Iorfa came out at right wing back, and Spence came in. Knudsen played at left wing back. Skews was the holding midfielder. Gleeson and Connolly both went out, and Hyam and Ward came in. And most interesting, Freddie Sears and Bersant Selina up front. Obviously in a 3-5-2 where you're playing wing backs, it's hard to get Selina into the team. Mick loves Sears, a lot of the fans don't, so interesting to see him get a start. I don't know if there was any rationale to it, but I tried to think of some, and he's going for a fast front two against two slow centre-backs. I don't know. The word was that Garner was not on the bench at all. Neither was McGoldrick. They're both injured, but I don't suppose we would be told if they were being rested. Waghorn was on the bench, however. So Cardiff lining up with a 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3-ish, however you want to read it. Etheridge in goal. Manga right back. Morrison and Bamber centre-backs. Connolly at left back. Gruich in front of the back four with Rowles. Demore was a little bit further forward. Hoylett to his left. Mendes laying to his right. And Zahor the focal point. Cardiff had been unbeaten in 6 since a horrible run of 4 straight defeats, I think, over Christmas. And it was 13th versus 2nd. And Cardiff should have gone 1-0 up after 1 minute. They forced a early corner. It gets chipped over. Bamber gets up well and falls to Connolly, and a poor right-footed shot from him that kind of dribbles wide. 55 seconds, I think I made that. So Ipswich still maybe in a bit of shell shock after Sunday's events at Norwich. Gruich engineers a 25-yarder. Poor with the left foot though. Way over from him. Zahor feeds the more reasonable position, but he kind of skews it wide with his right foot. Ipswich's first sort of attack on 25. Quick corner from Sears. Selina lobs it in. Weak header from Webster at the back post, but look, I'm clutching for an effort on goal here. Quick counter-attack from Ipswich on 26. Great ball over by Sears. Bouncing ball, and he lobs it over. Ward cuts in on the right foot. Hits the shot, bounces in front of Etheridge, and he makes the save. Good move down the left here. Selina with the early ball. Hyam actually gets forward and gets a very good first touch, and his shot is blocked pretty much at inception, but good to see him getting forward. Spence with a diagonal. Great touch by Sears. Runs at the centre half. Cuts in on the right foot. Shot deflected. Shades of the artist formerly known as Freddie Sears. Used to do that a lot. Don't know what happened to Morrison on 39. He's substituted. He's a good player, Morrison. But I've seen Cardiff. This chap Manga is very adaptable. Can either play right back or centre back. He goes in at centre back, and Halford is going to play right back. Skews, brilliant pass from Skews outside of the right foot. Sets Selina away behind the centre halves. There's a foot race with Etheridge. Selina gets the touch just, but kudos to Etheridge because he's out so quickly that he forces a heavy touch, so Selina can't either go round him or try and go down for the penalty. At half-time, I was really pleased because Mick took Garner out. I love Garner. I think he's a great player. So there was no long ball to play up front. It took Bart and the centre-halves a little while to figure out that there was no out ball. But Ipswich's passing intent in that first half was way better than it has been in other games. And all the negative stuff that accompanied the Burton game, which was a 0-0 draw, wasn't there. And I think what McCarthy should realise, and what Ipswich fans should realise when they analyse this rift between the fans and McCarthy, is that, to the credit of the fans, and I know I'm one of them, so I'm a little bit biased, when the team passes the ball around, it's always met with applause and come on Ipswich chants, as opposed to the more pragmatic, cautious style of football. I tweeted at half-time that Ipswich had completed more passes in that half than many full games. So I was actually encouraged by the first half, but obviously no goal there. We expected Warnock to do something at half-time, and so he did. Gary Medine, the big signing, comes on and he switches to a 4-4-2, realising that with two wing-backs for Ipswich and two centre-halves behind, his wide guys just didn't get in the game at all. So he takes Grujic out, who was the kind of fulcrum defensive midfielder, presumably thinking he's wasted in this game. Brings on Medine, goes 4-4-2. Good move by Warnock there, and as I always say, he's a risk taker, a gambler. He makes it early. Selina takes a corner on 46. Webster runs from far to near. It's a free header. It's a good chance. I think he wasn't calm enough. He was too pumped up with his run to control his header, and it's a good chance. Long throw, bit of chaos for Cardiff. Ends up Mendes-Lang, weak side footer wide. Mendes-Lang shot blocked on the edge of the box. Demore follows in, and a bit of a weak right footer on 62. And then on 65, Cardiff, who were being more forceful and getting more territory and certainly quietening Ipswich down, take the lead here on 65. It's a foul by Chambers that was hotly contested by Mick McCarthy. One of those ones in the middle area where you kind of don't quite know whether where the free kick's going to go, and it's pretty certain to be floated up. It's Rowles who chips it in. Medine's pulled off to the back post. He headers it down. It falls for Zahor, and you think the chance is gone because he swings his foot at it, misses it. He falls on the floor, up he jumps, and he pokes it in. He stands up really quickly and pokes it in. It's a really quick reaction from him, and the Ipswich defence can do nothing to stop it. Just kind of rolls in from 6 yards, and Cardiff, without necessarily playing through Ipswich, force the lead there from the set play. I think you need to give Warnock some credit for changing it and changing the dynamic of the game. And can Ipswich, with 25 minutes to go, get back into it? Another free kick, kind of the mirror image. Hoylett takes this one right-footed. Zahor makes a run to the near post. No one goes with him. He's free if he can control the header. It's a good chance, but he does not. McCarthy makes a substitution, 73. Luke Hyam, who I thought played quite well. I'm not the biggest Hyam fan. He's a very kind of limited player technically, but if he has Cole Skews next to him, giving him instructions, he actually looked reasonably useful today. Got forward to have that chance. Callum Connolly comes in, like for like swap. Selina break down the left, comes in, feeds Ward on the right. He cuts in on his left foot and curls one over. Etheridge didn't seem to move too much there. Another counter-attack. Cardiff's Connolly doesn't clear. Selina does get round the back this time, but he's forced wide enough to make the angle difficult for him. We know he's got a bit of a banger of a right foot. Gets some power on the shot, but it's a bit too far wide to test Etheridge. Now Ipswich have a good little period here. The next phase, the cross is cleared. Comes out to Cole Skews. Typical considered play from him. He volleys the shot, gets good contact on it, and it's well blocked out. Then Ward crosses to the near post, and Spence nearly gets in there, but he's well blocked out. Cardiff defending well. Waghorn comes on for Spence, so Mick a bit more proactive with his substitutions this time around. Ipswich for a short while here playing a sort of 3-4-3. Waghorn, Sears, Selina up front, and a back three. So a lot of the division are coming around to the way that Wolves have kind of blazed the trail. Although I don't think it's quite their system, more their personnel that's got them through. But, you know, Breakout here for Zahor. This is wasteful from him. He's got one either side of him, and he takes a weak left-footed shot. Kevin Brew comes in for Ward, more kind of sitting player now that they've got the three up front. Selina nearly gets Knudsen with a lovely little ball, falls to Waghorn, but Cardiff have got bodies back. They want this 3 points. They're going for the Premier League and second place, and they get the Brooks in. Warnock shores it up now. Craig Bryson in for Zahor, leaving Medina as the only forward. 3 minutes added on, and the whole crowd goes, well, we could have done with 3 on Sunday. We got 5. We could have done with 5 today, and we got 3. So Cardiff see out the win. It's one of those games where you say Cardiff didn't really have to do a lot to beat Ipswich. It's the second time this season that McCarthy has made a load of changes before a midweek game against Cardiff, and I think funnily enough it was Preston at home on the Saturday. I think I'm right about that. And last time it worked, and McCarthy lost against Sunderland, and then he beat Preston and took 6 points over the 3-game period, which is acceptable in anybody's language. This time I'm a bit less sure about this. He's made the changes ahead of an away game against the Preston team, who are in good form. So I don't think many Ipswich fans will be back in Ipswich for the win away at Preston. I thought his bigger chance to get 3 points maybe was tonight, but I'm prepared to be proved wrong. Just with that team and just the sheer size and power of those Cardiff players, you knew it was going to be tough for Selina and Sears, and also the players who, to be fair to them, have spent the whole season playing a direct style up to Ghana, and Ghana with support. So I don't think Cardiff had to do too much to beat us. Ipswich had a couple of good periods. It's classic Warnock. Cardiff were less flamboyant than I've seen them today. Sometimes they do, you know, they're powerful at the back, and they do get Hoylett and Mendes-Lang dribbling. So probably some credit to Ipswich for keeping them quiet. Warnock made the change at half-time, and, you know, the power of Medine from that set play, and they get the goal. I can't really sit here with sour grapes and say Cardiff didn't do a lot to win. It's a competition. Whoever scores the most goals wins, and they did that. I'm a little bit disappointed in McCarthy's team selection, but as I say, I'm prepared to be proved wrong if all of a sudden Garner's back, Waghorn starting, and McGoldrick maybe is back on Saturday, but don't hold your breath for that. In terms of personnel for Cardiff, it's hard for me to pull out a star man. I mean, the star man's probably Warnock, just for setting up this system and doing the necessary with those players, just to, you know, just to leave with the points without necessarily playing too much amazing football. Hoylett and Mendes-Lang quieter than I've seen them. Zahor got the goal but didn't necessarily do too much. Raul's more quiet than I've seen him. I suppose the guy that made the difference was Medine. He signalled the change of system, but I would give the credit to Warnock rather than any individual Cardiff player. For Ipswich, I don't mind the 3-5-2. I think Webster suits it quite well. He gets a bit more time on the ball, and I think that'll suit him long term. Chambers is a good player in a 3-5-2. He can, you know, kind of come out and, you know, sees a bit more and has got cover either side. Carter Vickers has proven to be a good player. Wing-backs not too great. Spence, his main role today was being the only aerial threat up front, so he kept having to go forward to try and win the goal kicks. I think I prefer Iorfa as a wing back, and I mean Knudsen's had a strongish season, so he doesn't really deserve to lose his place there. I was reasonably impressed with Hyam. I'm not too high on Hyam. I think Skews helps him out. It's all a bit meh. You can sense from my my tone of voice that really that 11 against Cardiff's 11, Cardiff kind of should be winning that game, and don't really know what Sears and Selina could do. Selina, I would say, doesn't seem to be a forward. He seems to be better off the front, so I don't think this system suits him long term. He's not going to be here next season, so Waghorn and Garner hopefully are. So maybe those two will end up being the forwards, and Selina's going to end up back on the bench. For Ipswich, maybe Webster, star guy, although in terms of my expectations, I don't have high expectations for Hyam, and he exceeded them. So maybe Hyam or Webster for the guy that most impressed me, but that's obviously with mitigating circumstances. Well done to Cardiff. They've stayed solid. They've scored from a set play, kept a clean sheet, and they will go with 3 points. Be interested for any Cardiff fan watching this. What are you going to do if you go up? Because I really don't want to sound bitter about the defeat. Congratulations, like I say, that's not going to work in the Premier League. I don't know whether Warnock would even ride off into the sunset with his last promotion and hand it over to someone else and say, away you go. So Cardiff fans, let me know there and how you think it's going to play out. Can you hold off Villa and maybe Fulham coming from sort of 4th or 5th place for that 2nd place? For McCarthy, again, you have to judge it over the whole week. Strange team selection. Think he's going to position with the 3-5-2. Ipswich fans, let me know in the comments. Who did you have as the star guy? Can you take any positives from that performance today? Please give me a follow on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom, as I've said. Love to hear from you in the comments. Agree, disagree, that's fine. I've had a lot of people disagreeing with me this week since the Norwich videos. And on that front, I've been doing this YouTube channel. This is my 1st season, and I've had a wonderful number of views this week. So thank you everybody for watching. Everybody who's subscribed and given thumbs up, that's great. Also, please subscribe if you've watched this video. And I'm not going to be at Preston this weekend, so my next video will actually be Reading versus Sheffield United next Tuesday. That's a local one to me, so I'm going to give that a look. Thanks everyone for watching. I'm going to make the drive home. Please hit me up in the comments, and I will see you soon for more videos.